What's up, everyone?
Hey, hey, hey. Happy Wednesday, right? Hump day.
Yes, right? So I'm Lady Guy, and this is The Real Precious, and we are live every Wednesday around 7.
Seven-ish.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot going on both ends, but we are
Yes,
here. We are here.
yes, yes, yes.
So today's topic is going to be about 50-50 relationships. And if it's something that people are into. Now, we're talking about Cardi B because she mentioned this a couple days ago and it went viral. Of course, because they are celebrities and they're sharing that they're going 50-50, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're kind of like,
Mm-hmm.
what? What do you mean? So we just want to talk about it because even though they're celebrities, people are doing this in real actual reality. You don't have to
Right,
be a celebrity to partake into something like that.
right.
It's a body situation. So let's get into it. So yes, Precious, what you got on that?
50-50 is better than 100 all by yourself, but that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, hey, you know what I'm saying? So teamwork, teamwork. So, but before we get into that, we wanted to talk about some other viral clips. Woo! When I say that these clips are a little insane, we are gonna get into it. So let me share my screen today. And let's see. All right. Here we go. So I'm gonna play the clip and let me know what your thoughts are when I play this clip.
Y'all finna give birth to his child, and he over here questioning me, is this really his baby? Like, what are you talking about? Do you really think I'm sitting here have you up here at the hospital and everything with me just for nothing? Are you serious right now? What kind of baby dad does that right when we finna have this baby? Like, are you serious? You really gonna sit here and question baby talking about, oh, can you get DNA test? No, you're not getting no DNA test after this. I'm not doing that. This is your child. If you don't believe it's your child, then you could go ahead and go. I don't need you up here. Because all you're doing is stressing me out. Yeah, we are finna find out. And that's so weird for you to even be saying that, though. Why would you even say that? You don't never want to claim your kids. Why you never claiming your kids? Like, I don't be doing none of that cheating stuff or none of that. What are you doing? Bro, like, I'm figuring that. And you know what? I'm not even gonna say nothing, bro, because I'm not getting no DNA test. So if you don't think it's his child, he just won't have a child. We don't really need you over here. He in here stressing me out. Like, look at me. I look a mess right now. And you over here doing all this extra stuff, stressing me out right now. Talking about you and DNA test. Okay. You gonna get the DNA test. You can really go ahead and go.
So
Yeah. Get that DNA test.
I hate I I don't really know how that feels exactly. Like if somebody asks for a DNA test. So I can't really relate to the emotional part that she's going through supposedly. But my thing is, what is it gonna like if he's gonna pay for the DNA test, why can't he just get it? It's not like you gotta do anything. So
Right, right. You're in the hospital where they have the tools necessary. I'm sure she wants him to sign the birth certificate. I think DNA tests should be mandatory when a woman gives birth. I don't care how she feel about it. If it's his baby, you shouldn't feel no way, right? If it's his baby, you shouldn't feel no way. Now, if it ain't his baby, then you're gonna be offended. That's how people. When you're offended, that means it's really touching something that's really off. And so get the DNA test. I'm glad he was like, no, we gonna get it because at the end of the day, he can't trust that she was just sleeping with him. And now you have a baby that for 18 plus years, if it's not his, he's going to be on child support. I mean, if it is his, oh, excuse me, if it's not his and he don't know that it's not his, she would put him on child support saying that it is his. You know what I mean? So it's like, as a woman, if you're confident that that's your man's baby, get the DNA test. and you just sit there calmly, sip on some tea, some hot tea, or something. Because why go live and all of that shenanigans? I call shenanigans.
Especially if the baby's not his, then she's gonna really look dumb at the end.
Really?
Your friend's gonna be like, so he the daddy or not?
I think he should get the DNA test. And honestly, I don't even think it should be up to the woman. She having the baby. I mean, what else you want to be in her hands? Like, you know what I mean? If he's going to sign the birth certificate as a father, he should get a DNA test, period.
So I'm gonna share my thoughts in just a second. Just wanted to say hello to everybody in the chat. Precious, it's your honors.
Hey, sincere in nature, the art of God. Hey, sisters.
We got Miss
Company says facts.
Run, bro. What up, Sherm? How are you?
Hey, yo. Hey. All
right, we got I am Lala Land. Okay, I like that. What's up? Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
All right, so I'm in Lala says that was a hot mess. I believe all children should be tested. The women know, but the men do not know. Exactly. Well, do they? Because if they're having sex with multiple people, and they have a sex log. I don't know if some of you guys know this, but there are some women that have a sex log, a calendar, time of when they had sex with someone, and they try to track if they got pregnant, and they could possibly determine who the baby daddy is.
Right, because if it's too close, you're not going to know unless you have a DNA test.
Exactly. So what I don't like is that men don't have rights, because they act like these ladies had the child on their own, made the child on their own. It does take a man to plant the seed. This is just a scientific fact. So the fact that they don't have this in law, that
it should be mandatory.
Right. The guy that you're claiming to be the biological father, then that means that you should be able to say, yes, I want a DNA test. She should not be able to say no. And that's where I don't understand, even though it is her body, our body, but the child does not just belong to us. So what about the child's body? So that's why I don't like, it's my body. No, it is your body, but you have a child that belongs to you.
Right.
So why don't they allow the men to have a determination if they want a DNA test? That should be illegal. Like, if they ask, you're supposed to give it to them.
It would take money away. It would take money out of the pockets of the country, because so many women are on public assistance that if they took that away, you would have a lot more women and children poor on the side of the street, don't have nowhere to live, and you would have women. Honestly, I think you would either have women poor on the side of the street, or you would have women that are more careful with who they lay down with. Because if there was no welfare and child support and all of that,
right,
I don't know how some of these women would live. I don't know how they would survive. See, a man will find a way. A man will work. A man will use his hands. A man will get a job somewhere. A man will hop wherever he needs to make sure he's okay. A woman can't bounce back like a man. Some women are so emotional that after a breakup, they can't even go to work. So, something as far as having a child, it kind of secures them in a way that cushions them if the man was to walk away, or if they didn't know who the father was. So I think it's definitely a government thing.
It is. And it's sad. And that's a good point you made, that women can't bounce back. I've seen it where ladies are so emotionally drained from their toxic relationship that they quit everything.
Everything.
Job, school, and I'm like, no, you got to be able to maintain yourself. You are an adult. Because right
Mhm.
now you acting like, maybe like a teenager. You got to understand that things are going to happen. Things may not work out, but why would you quit your entire life because you are so-called depressed?
I've
It's
seen it happen. I've
yeah,
seen it happen before, and I'm like, wait, what? They not coming to work because what? Huh? They a breakup? What?
right.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. The
It's
show goes on. The show must go on.
it must go on, especially if there's a child.
Right.
Child. And the thing is, I have grace for people that they go through stuff. I go through stuff. You go through stuff, but you got to pick yourself back up. You should not be down
Mhm.
for long. Take your day, take your 2 days. That is fine. Matter of fact, they're even giving mental health days, mental breaks at
Mhm.
jobs now. They're
Yep.
considering that because I think that it is important. If you need a day, take it. But get your ass back to work or get your ass back
Right.
to school or whatever it is that you're doing to, make the supplemental income for your house.
Yeah. And I don't think that women use the necessary tools to bounce back.
Yeah.
They're always trying to kind of rely on someone else. And if you are going to rely on someone else, then let it be a licensed professional. Let it be
Right.
a trusted, family member or someone who is going to be a cheerleader for you and not someone that is going to, bring you further down.
Mm-hmm.
Don't stay in a state where you're, curtains closed, not eating, like, you know what I mean? Because those things last if you don't catch them. They
Yeah.
they will have residual effects on you if you don't catch it. So I think that if women sought out, tools that would help them
Mm-hmm.
get back on track, it would be a little bit easier. But a lot of women like the woe is me story. So I don't get it.
The question is, why do us women like to suffer? Because there's a point in time where you got to stop crying. You got to get up. Why do we like to sit in there? I hear that, oh, they like to play the victim. But what is that doing for you except somebody picking you up and giving you a hug? That's
Right.
it. But you are not being able to satisfy yourself. You need someone to help you. You have to learn how to help yourself in most scenarios because you may
Mhm.
not have that somebody, especially if you're against men. So
Facts.
you gotta do something.
Something. Something.
Something. So yeah, that video kind of pissed me off a little bit because I realized men really don't have any rights, especially if they even requesting the DNA test. Any man that requests it should get it. And
I wonder what the doctor, like, if they're in there and he says, I want a DNA test, and she's like, no, because she on live. Y'all need to be talking to the doctor or somebody. You know what I mean? Would the doctor grant it? Like, you know what I mean? Like, who would make the decision?
yeah,
Because obviously they can't come to a resolve.
right.
So if you're already in the hospital, I would hope that the hospital, any nurses, doctors in the building, in the chat, let us know. I would hope that the doctors, nurses, whoever, staff would say, since you're here, maybe we should do a DNA test. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, I don't so because the rights of the other person, so you can't make the other person agree. That's the thing. And
Okay.
because the child belongs to both, they have to have a serious court order to say that, let's say the mother has all rights. But because if the mom says no, then it's kind of like somebody has to say no for it to stop. They both have to agree because it's going to get into a court situation. They have to go to court now. That's the thing.
That's interesting. Interesting.
Yeah.
I would think that because if the it's just crazy. How does the mother have all the rights, yet she's pinning a baby on a man who doesn't know if it's his or not? Or even if he is partly sure, why not encourage him to be 100% sure?
Right.
You know?
Now she said,
I don't
"Oh,
know.
you don't have a child because you don't want him." Like,
That part, it just went from one extreme to the other, and that's exactly how it goes. You know what I mean? So there you go. It's right there in that depiction. Whether I don't know whether this stuff is skits or not, child. So we just gonna call it a scenario. But it's right there that that's exactly what happens. Oh, you don't want to get this DNA test? You don't have a child, but yeah, he gonna have child support.
right.
I bet you she gonna go down to that office and file child support.
And I bet you she gonna sign somebody's name on that birth certificate. So that's the
Oh,
thing. So yeah, that in itself is a whole live to dig into these laws because people need to be protected. Men need to be protected. You do need to protect yourself though. Try not to just lay around with anybody because that
right.
stuff is going to happen. But yeah. What's up, Christopher Sterling? How
Hey,
are
Chris.
you? Depression, Christopher says, depression is a beast. Some people don't know how to deal with it. That is very true.
Mhm.
That happened many times, and it's very sad to watch, honestly. But all you could do is try to help them the best way you can, give them the professional support, and always be there.
Yeah.
Unless they're doing something illegal, always try to be there because you never know. Hey, Jokabed, how are you? Good evening, ladies in chat. Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday.
Um, what's up, Trey? How are you? Trey says you don't need to go to court to get the DNA test. There are court-approved DNA tests. Yes.
Mm.
Yeah. Because that's what I was saying. If she is saying no, you can't make her. You can't unless he has the child. The only way you could do it. This is how you do it. If he has the child with him and she's not around, swab the mouth. That is not illegal. That's not illegal because that's supposedly his child. So he should be able to do, what he wants, respectfully. So, but if not, yeah, you got to have court ordered DNA. Yeah. Thanks for that, Trey. So yeah, let's get into the next topic, which is we're gonna talk about this lady named Supa Cent. She is an Instagram TikTok star who went viral years ago. She got into makeup. So she went viral off of doing makeup and just talking crap.
I used to watch her videos back in the day. She definitely looks a lot different. Let's just say that. I don't know who been watching Supa Cent and how long they've been watching her, but I'm gonna pray for her because I don't know. She just doesn't look healthy. But yeah, we can continue.
She looks stressed.
She do. I'm gonna pray for her.
Yeah, I didn't watch her a ton, but I did watch some of her videos, and she does look a lot different. That is for sure. But the good thing is that she is more natural now.
Yes.
So kudos to
Well,
her.
yeah, she's had work done, but
Yeah. Well, yeah. I got you. So let's get into that. Let me share my screen, and before I get started, hello, Antonio. Thanks for being here. All right, so let's share. All right, let me get into it. Here we go.
The first thing a man holler out when it comes to taking care of a child is I pay child support. That's the first thing they see. They don't say nothing else. They don't say I bring the children to the dentist, I bring them to the doctor, I bring them to the games, I buy their school uniforms, I do this. The first thing they say is I'm up on my child support. I ain't in no arrears. I pay my child support. They ain't saying nothing else. As if that's the only motherfucking thing they're supposed to be doing for a child is paying child support. Drives the fuck out me. Like, bitch, what about everything else? And why the fuck is you clocking where the fuck the money's from? Why is you clocking it? Why is you clocking? Well, the child support is gone, bitch. Why is you mad if she's spending her child support? Bitch, if I want fucking buy 10 pounds of pig feet, bitch.
Woo! Woo!
not 10 pounds of pig feet. I think you're on mute though. Not 10 pounds of pig feet though.
She was doing a lot of cursing in that one. Let me share another one. But yeah, so what she said alone. So she's basically saying that men shouldn't be concerned how women spend the money on child support.
Yeah, that's pretty much what she's saying. She's saying that when you ask a man, anything, I guess, about the child, he's pretty much like, but I pay child support. So what do you do with it?
Yeah. Yeah, she made a statement that it said, why do men think paying child support makes them a dad?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we got to understand that there are different types of dads, different types of men.
Mm-hmm.
So what she's trying to explain is that the men that are paying the child support, that's all they're doing, and they don't show up and support the child. They don't go to, let's say, any events, basketball games, school events or anything. They just show that money and that's it. They maybe see them once in a blue moon. And of course, that doesn't make you a dad. But they are paying. So to me, it sounds bad that they're not there, but they're paying. Paying is part of being a parent. If you don't have no money, you cannot take care of your child. You need one of the other. So there are people who send their kids away to boarding school, right? And they pay for them to go to school. They pay for them to eat and to live. So are they not parents? I wouldn't say they're not. They're just not all the way there as a parent, but they are parenting because you do need money to take care of. These kids are expensive. So what are your thoughts?
And they're doing, I agree with you. They're doing something. I think that women's emotions get in the way. And biologically, so they will get in the way. That's why I think that we have to put into measures certain tools into measures. And of course, you don't know this. Women don't know this when they're young, hot pocket, dot pocket, whatever you want to call it, having babies, right? So this woman is going to be emotional. She's going to be in her feelings. She's not going to be thinking as logically as the man is, like, hey, I'm doing what I can, because there are some men that don't do anything. So a man that is doing something is a man that is trying, and is a man that is there, just not in the capacity that you would like him to be there, right? I know someone who, she has a daughter, and she talks to her dad, but the mom doesn't encourage her to talk to her dad. And she's like, oh, well, if he calls and she's not around or whatever, I'm not going to give her the phone. And I said, well, you are encouraged. You don't realize that you are encouraging her to have this bad or ill will intent against her father, because she's going to wonder, oh, I didn't talk to my dad today. And the real reason why you didn't talk to your dad today is because mom didn't give you the phone, although dad called. You know what I mean? So I told her, I said, you have to think outside of you. You have to think for the child and what's best for the child. Now, if that's all that man can do as far as paying and giving child support, if that's all he can do at that time, then you have to be okay with that. And you have to learn how to harness your emotions and direct them somewhere else, because at least he's doing something.
That's what I'm saying. Like, y'all don't understand how much money holds. Now, it may not hold for the child emotionally because they don't understand. But if that money is paying for them to do something that they couldn't do before, it is holding them. They just don't know. And then for the lady, it is holding a lot of weight. Like, especially if they're getting a decent check, it is help paying and taking care of the child. So I believe that if that's all that man can provide, take it. Are you going to be happy about it? No. But should you be grateful? That's where I think we're missing. You should be grateful that you even have extra money to help, because there are some people who don't get nothing. They are their child by themselves. That's the real single parent. I don't want to say single mom, but single parent.
Right.
You have
you gotta do it all by yourself.
Yeah. And that is hard. That is hard. But I want to play the last 2 slides of this lady's video. Let me share my screen so we can get back into what she was saying. All right, here we go.
And you turn them into full-time dad. Sometimes you do. That's why I don't disrespect no women. I don't disrespect women. Bitch, I'm not about to beef with no hoes behind no nigga. I'm not. It's not happening. I'm not about to beef with no woman that's gonna be around my child. It's not happening because I know a woman is gonna stabilize a man. I know what the fuck a woman gonna do for a man. I know what a woman gonna do for a man. I know when a woman enter a man life, I know her role in that man life. I'm not about to beef with no hoes. Sorry, I'm not. I ain't got time for it. Hey sis. Hey baby mama. Hey girl. Bitch, I'd rather talk to the woman than a man anyway. Ain't no woman that ever dealt with any one of my baby daddies could say that I made them feel uncomfortable about anything. Because it ain't me. It's not in my character. It's not gonna happen. I feel like I'm sneak dissing. I'm not doing it. I'm not. I trade lightly with the internet because bitch, I'm not doing it. I'm not even about to make you feel like I got an issue with you behind something I'm not fucking with. It's not happening. All that and of course, you know, a woman gonna feel like, you know, they got seniority because they're the baby mama or they're the ex-wife or they're the ex something. Bitch, you the ex at the end of the day. I understand I am the ex. Bitch, I'm the ex. I ain't no side nothing, and that's that, bitch. I'm not about to make no woman feel I'm not about to make no woman feel uncomfortable behind my baby daddy.
All right. So she said a lot. I agree about you shouldn't be beefing or having drama with someone who is around your child. First of all, even if you are on good terms with them, they still have the ability to neglect. I look about the neglect part. They have the ability to neglect your child because it's not theirs. So the least you could try to do is make sure y'all girls something because they gonna be around that baby. That's the crazy part. Like, how are they with the child when you're not around? So if you are cursing each other out and trying to fight, imagine her. Let's say she loves the father. So when you love the father, you love what comes with the dad, his kids. But there are women today, they can't do that. It's emotional. They can't put their ego aside. They're still upset that they're not with that man. And it's the jealousy that tears it apart, and they never look at the bigger picture, which is the child.
That's how you know there's no sisterhood. That tells you right there, because if someone has your child and they're in their care and they're not in yours and that's your child, that child came out of you, you would think that you would get along with the person that the father is with. You would think that because now all y'all co-parenting. Like, you're not just co-parenting with him no more. Now you have somebody else that is, on the scene. As far as her saying women stabilize men and things like that, I don't know if stabilize is the right word. However, when a woman has a certain type of nurture. So if that woman loves that man, she's going to love that man's child. Let's hope, let's pray, right? Like, let's stay on that side of things. And so the woman who had the baby shouldn't worry about or be emotional about this woman that is in this man's life. Now, again, you have women, like you said, that just can't get over it, that can't get past the fact that they're not together, and so now she's jealous. That takes, I think that really takes for women to grow up. And unfortunately, when you have children young, you go through these tumultuous or toxic cycles of not being able to grow up, because you're in essence growing up with the child. They're just, a baby, while you're trying to get out of your teenage years into your 20s. And, like, you know what I mean? if you had the baby that young. But I think these are lessons that are not taught to young women. And so they don't know how to handle these situations. They don't know how to get out of their feelings. They don't know how to not be emotional and regulate their emotions when it comes to situations like that. So I think you gotta grow up, baby. Like that's one of those things where it's just like you live and you learn. And as you get older, you'll realize that none of those arguments or none of it is worth it, because the child is going to steadily grow. The child ain't gonna get no younger. We ain't gonna go back. So I think in order to prevent all of that, you have to have some type of calm about you. You have to be regulated. You have to regulate your emotions, especially if you're gonna be a mom. Like you have a child that their emotions are gonna be all over the place. And so I just think these are just things that women don't learn young.
And I'm going to respond to that. Women don't learn young. Let me get into a few of the comments. Thank you all for commenting. This is old, but wow, pig feet. Yeah, some people still eat that, especially if they live in the South. Trey says she looks like somebody eats pig feet. Oh, goodness. Yes. Child support is the measurement women use, but when men use it to show care, they're wrong. That's a good point. Kev C, hey, what's up? Thanks for being here. Says the angry baby mama strikes again. Dude should have never produced a child with that woman. He was never going to marry a woman such as an angry deposition. We have Harrison Davis. Thanks for being here. Misery Loves Company says, thank you, Precious, for something you said, I'm pretty sure with wisdom. Antonio says, she looks like she needs sleep. Supa Cent, yeah, she was going through something and you could see it. And that's the thing. We as women, like when we go through something, we lose weight, lose hair or gain weight, have acne, bags under the eyes. And this is why some women wear a lot of makeup because they're hiding. Like it's hard. Like for me, I'm pretty much natural all the way, especially today, you guys. Yeah, I got my rare form. But it's hard because you can see when I get tired. Like I'll be on panels and I'll be like, yo, all right, because you can see it. I can't hide it. So what I'm saying is we can't hide it. Men y'all can hide it a little bit more. Y'all got beards, right? The beards kind of hide all that type of stress that you guys are going through. And a lot of y'all act in anger anyway. So you guys kind of let it go in other spaces. But we as ladies, we don't really let it go. We just complain. Don't sleep, don't eat. So it's important that, we have to learn how to maintain our mental health regardless. Thank you for that. And we have Quincy, thanks for being here. So
Thank you.
Yes, I wanted to share, I think you said something about we as women are not taught young. And I could agree to that. Because some of us are raised by other women who weren't taught, right? So you see them moving and they're emotional, they're yelling, they're arguing, they're fighting. And you're thinking it's crazy, but it's normal. And then you see your mom doing it and you see mostly everybody around you doing it. It's not too many people who have class, especially at a young age, have class. A lot of people they don't learn it until later. But as a young girl, it should be taught, but it's not. And it's because it can't be. Because who are our role models? Grandma is old, back, with her husband somewhere maybe in a nursing home or just not around. So the way how we are moving today is not how it was back in the day. So for me per se, I didn't learn until I got into a relationship with my husband, James. And I learned before him, but with him specifically, I learned a lot about myself. And that's sometimes how you learn is through relationships. And that's my story. I learned through
the beautiful part.
Yeah, it is now. It is now.
Yeah.
look, 10 years later, it is now, right? And he was just one of those guys that was patient enough. And he had his own stuff too, but that's where I figured out all my trauma. I didn't even know I had issues like that, to be honest with you. And I learned, but I learned through him. And I had to do my own self evaluation as well. I had a lot of reality checks within myself. And it was hard. I'm not going to say it was easy, but this is what I wanted to point out. A lot of women don't have a goal. So my goal was to be married. My goal was to have kids. So because I wanted it so bad, I kept fighting. There are women who don't want, it don't have to be a marriage and a man and a kid. It could be anything, career or something. Some women don't have a drive. So when they are going through stuff, they're not looking at, okay, when I'm 25, this is what I want for myself. Let me keep going. Let me wipe the tears. Let me keep pushing. And I feel like that is the lack in the women in our environment. Like, we need to have more of a drive to do stuff. And once we have that drive, even if you weren't taught, you will get through it. You will change yourself. Even if it took you a couple years, you're going to get there. So I feel like we as women have to have that set goal, boundary, standard, something. A lot of us aren't standing on nothing. We just looking at what's on TV, looking at what's on social media, living through other people, living through other people's experience when it comes to girl talk, hearing all these drama stories. And it's like, what about you? What are you going through? How are you going to fix your situation? So I feel like that's the biggest lack. And I feel like if you have that goal and that drive, you should be able to get through anything, especially with the Bible. Because, sometimes everybody don't have the Bible starting off. I didn't. You learn later, but it gets there.
I definitely agree with you. I think the biggest thing for women is to find stillness. That is something that I had to learn. We talked about it last Wednesday, going through foster care and adoption. Mm-hmm. And that brought so many emotions that when a lot of things would unfold, it was like I couldn't quiet the noise, right? And so I had to learn how to do that. Now, when I was adopted into a Christian family. So my dad at the time, my mom and dad were in church. We went to church with them. We was in a church choir, Bible study on Wednesday, prayer on Friday, the norm routine. But one thing that I had to do was I had to find stillness, and I had to block out all the other noise, right? And so, because if we don't block out the noise, we as women, we will listen to a little bit of everything. And then we won't really have a clear picture or a realistic picture of what's going on. So when you can block out all the noise and be still, and that's when you can really search yourself. And then you were talking about the Bible. To me, the best place to start in the Bible is Proverbs, because it's like the guide to how to live. It has be still in there. It has, trust in God, and they seem like words, but when you really are still and you block out all the noise, you silence your notifications, maybe take a break from social media for a while. Those who are being negative, you stay away from that, because bad company corrupts good character, right? So these are little things that I had to learn. And the best way that I'm a writer, so a lot of things are written. I have to have them written down. I have to be reminded of them. And so I can continue to be on that track. And I know when I'm not on that track, when I'm not being still and the noise is getting to me. So I think for women, the best thing that you can do is really quiet out all the noise. You have to quiet out all the noise. And some of that noise is, or a lot of that noise is coming from you. A lot of that noise is coming from you. Like you said, a lot of women don't grow up in houses where they have an example. They don't grow up in houses where women are teaching them and giving them the nuggets and the gems to be able to take with them and put in their toolbox so they can emotionally regulate. Therapy was a big one for me too. My adoption sent me to therapy because I needed it. So, and I knew I needed it, and I didn't deny that I needed it. So I did it. a lot of women will know that they need help. A lot of women will know that they're in this cycle that is destroying them, that is taking years away from their lives, that is making them into mean monsters. They know this, and they will not go get help. They will not talk to anyone about it. They will not try to be still and change the direction of where they're going. They'll continue going down the path of destruction, and then they'll look back over their lives and they're like, 5 years passed by, I'm still in the same spot. 10 years passed by, I'm still in the same spot. These people don't talk to me no more because I've changed. Like, you have to evaluate. You have to do reevaluations.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, time is going to pass by. You're going to wonder where it went.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you're not changing as a person.
Yeah. And then you're going to look like that lady with the show, Supa Cent. like, right? Mm-hmm. We all go through stuff. Like, no one's perfect. And that's what we're trying to talk about, is that you have to learn how to fix your issue. Sometimes it has to be a self-taught thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, resources are there, but if you don't know where to look, you got to start with yourself. Mm-hmm. And you should learn how to stabilize yourself. So like, there are ladies who know how to work out. They know how to lose weight. I wouldn't say a mass majority, but there are women who do. And some of those women still have, you know, issues. So if you're able to go to the gym consistently, you know, and be consistent on getting that bubble butt or whatever it is that you're trying to get, you should be able to be consistent with other things that are more important than your body. And I like that you said we had to learn how to block out things and sit still. So I had to actually do that at one point. I had to sit my ass down, still, don't move, process life. What the hell just happened here? Why am I still doing this? I don't like how it makes me feel. Like, you have to talk to yourself. I did that. It took, there was a one point in my life, it took me like 2-3 weeks. Literally, I went nowhere. Literally, what Precious said is real. I went nowhere. And that space for me, you know, I would say maybe 2 weeks of depression. It was kind of like that. I didn't know at the time, but when I think about it and I look back at it, because I never forget it, I'm like, I think that's what that was. And I'm glad it happened to me because I am a new person. The things that I had to work on has definitely shifted. And also, when you said block out, in that moment, I had to block out certain people in my life. It didn't have to be completely like, don't talk to them at all. But some of it had to be block out what they're saying. You know what I'm saying? Because some of the stuff that people are listening to is toxic. And then you just follow toxicity and you're like, yeah. No, it didn't work for you for the last 10 years. So, hello, let that person go. Block that out. So when you said that, I'm like, yeah, that's it.
Women have a hard time blocking people out. Some women have a hard time blocking people out because women don't want to be the one that's saying no. And sometimes when you are going through what you're going through, you got to throw out more no's than yeses. And you have to feel okay about the no. I think we feel guilty or we feel like we're letting someone down when we say no. True. And that's not the case. When you say no, you're choosing yourself. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you have to be selfish. And sometimes you have to put yourself first so you can be a better version of yourself for other people. Because you're only going to treat other people like you treat yourself. So even myself, sometimes I got to say no to myself because there are certain things that I shouldn't be doing. There are certain things I shouldn't be watching. There are timelines and deadlines and things I got to get done. And I got to be like, you know what, Michelle? No. Or Precious. Sorry. You know, you have to be able to do that. And so if you can't say no to other people, that means you can't say no to yourself. And we have to be able to check our flesh. Like, we have to be able to say, this ain't right. I know it ain't right. Let me stop immediately. And so if you can't do that with yourself, you're not going to be able to do that with other people.
That's a good point. And these are life lessons, you guys, that we are trying to share with you. We are women who went through stuff and we overcame a lot of it. Some of us are still going through stuff, but this is just the growth uh, curve that we go through. We're getting older, so there's things that's just gonna come up. But we've been through stuff, we've overcame them, and this is what we're sharing to everyone. This is not just for women, this is for men. You know, everybody is not just in a perfect life. You know, they didn't have the two-parent household, and sometimes the two-parent household, their kids be failing too. But that's not the point. What I'm saying is everybody didn't have that perfect life. A lot of us didn't. So we had to fix trauma and live.
Who got a perfect life? Who got a perfect life?
Oh, listen.
Nobody got a perfect life. Nobody, even like you said, even if you have the two-parent home, you still don't got a perfect life. The one-parent home, you're not gonna have a perfect life. You have to be able to work with what you have and add tools so that you're able to be a better human being. You know what I mean? Nobody has the perfect life. I was watching Why Did I Get Married one night, and then stayed up and watched Why Did I Get Married too.
Yo, yeah.
I was like, well, I already watched the first one, so mind you, I already watched these two movies. Mm-hmm. But Janet Jackson's character Patricia, they called her Perfect Patty, her and her husband. Next thing you know, and Why Did I Get Married too? She taking the golf club and she banging up everything in the house because you walk around like you're perfect and you're not. We all had issues, and she's the one that she was giving everybody else advice, but couldn't take it for herself, couldn't do for herself, couldn't find the strength to use the advice she was given to her friends. That happens in real life. The strong one breaks at some point. And everybody's not that strong. So, you know, you have to realize that you're not that strong. And like I say, get the tools, you know, get people that are going to keep it real with you. Go to a professional and seek them out and research them and try them out. Sit on that couch. You feel comfortable? It was a couple of them. I was like, it felt good to get out what I needed to get out, you know, but long term, it wasn't going to work out till I found the one where I felt comfortable. So nobody has a perfect life. It doesn't exist.
It doesn't. And that could be besides the household. It could be the person. A lot of us don't mentally, like you see how you're talking about weak. There are people that are weaker mentally than others. That's just something that you have to strengthen. So we all have something as an individual. That's why we have our own identity. But let me read the chats. I want to shout out, hey girl, thank you so much. Thanks. So some approach everything with conflict and chaos. It is the theory, Maslow's hammer. If all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. Okay, I like that. That is true. Thanks for sharing. On Mr. He Said is in the building. Thank you. Make sure you subscribe to him and his wife's channel, Mr. and Mrs. She Said. Let's see. We have Antonio that says depression is real. Men go through it, but it may show up differently. Yes, that is true. And we have Brianna. Hey, Brianna. I haven't watched that movie before.
It's one of them Tyler Perry, you know, Why Did I Get Married? Why Did I Get Married too? Yeah. But I mean, a lot of lessons in there about marriage, divorce, you know, it's a lot of different little stories in there. So
yeah, it's a great movie, especially back then. It was funny, but it's a good movie. Like I said, it's a movie, but some of that stuff is true as far as the stories that they're playing. I know I've seen a lot of them stories in real life, so it is a good watch. Definitely watch part 1 and 2.
I just haven't seen nobody hit nobody over the head with that wine bottle yet. She said, "Is he dead? Did I kill him?"
They are tripping.
Everybody knows that movie when she says, "I'm going up this mountain to save my marriage."
Oh yes, she was not playing.
That's the famous line.
Ooh, yes. My favorite one was when they was at the dinner table. And she
Yeah,
that was my favorite.
that's what I'm saying. I've never seen nobody hit nobody over the head with the wine bottle. Now I hope it never gets to that point. That part was the movie part, but
That
hey,
was the movie
I don't
part.
know,
Yeah.
some of y'all crazy out there, so y'all let us know.
Right. Speaking of crazy, we're gonna get into Cardi B, and I used to watch her back in the day on Love and Hip Hop, so I do know a lot about her from that time. I do. She grew from a reality star. Well, she was a stripper, reality star, became a rapper. I seen that whole transition. Now she, made a name for herself. She is, a millionaire. She is married, which I was surprised about that. But she got married. Regardless, marriage is a marriage. I don't like to talk about people's marriage as far as like the type of person they are. The people will say, "Oh, he married a hoe, he married a stripper, whatever." A marriage is a marriage. I'm in one. So I'm telling you, it's really not no different. It is the same thing. It's just that they are who they are. My household is who we are. But at the end of the day, it is a contract marriage. They do have to follow some type of law within it. And that is discipline too. They know they can't break certain things, so they would try their hardest to maintain in their relationship. So I do want to give Cardi B that credit, but she's a little crazy. So we're gonna get into her video. She talked about going 50-50 with her husband. So let's see. Let me share my screen. Sorry, I'll be a little slow, y'all. Hold on. Let me share my screen. Pop up now. Let's go.
It should be voice activated.
I know, right? All right, here we go, y'all. Hold on. See, this is what I'm saying. Here we go. All right, we got Cardi B clarifies her comments about going 50-50 in a relationship. Me and Offset, we don't go 50-50. So let's see what she's talking about.
It's cursing me out. Like, it's like, oh, yeah, you get cheated and you go 50-50. And people started spreading it that I said that women and men have to go 50-50. And, like the men started praising me and the women started attacking me. And I want to make this very fucking clear, right? I'm going to make two things clear. First thing first, I never said that women and men have to go 50-50. I never said you have to go 50-50. Then you have cursing me out. Like, it's like, oh, yeah, you get cheated and you go 50-50 in your home. Blah, blah, blah. All right, like, I want to make this very clear. Me and Offset, we don't go 50-50. We bought a house and we went half and half on our Atlanta home. We got two properties that we bought together, two investment properties. And I bought my home in Jersey myself, and he bought a condo in Miami himself. So, like, we're part of the 1%, and we're very fortunate that we're very successful and everything. However, there was a point in life that then you have cursing me out. Point in life that I wasn't successful. You know what I'm saying? I grew up with regular parents. And let me tell you something. My mom, she did not work until I was 6 years old. She was a fucking princess, laid up, feet done in the Chinese store every single other day, whatever the fuck, doing good. We even had one of them big TV screens. My dad lost. When I tell you my dad lost everything, my dad lost everything. And then my dad became a cab driver. My mom had to get a job. And my question to you is, right? When my dad lost everything and became a cab driver and he couldn't pay the rent with the bills and everything, was she supposed to leave him? Was she supposed to leave him? One thing about it is, even though my dad lost everything and he had to start cab driving, guess what? I was never in a fucking shelter. There was not one time that the lights went out. There was not one time that we didn't have cable. The point in life that I wasn't.
All right, so that's part of it. There is one more video I'm gonna share after this. But honestly, I love what she said, because is, like I said, as crazy as this lady is, especially her being, stripper life and everything. What she said was real. Like, she shared her story of her childhood, and that's a real story as far as how family is supposed to conduct themselves. Like she said, they weren't in a shelter. Her father lost everything. Her mother had to go to work even though she was sitting up there, like a queen, not doing much. But the fact that she shared that story was real. Women have to understand, like, things are going to happen. It may not happen to you, it happens to somebody else. It may happen to your sister, your mom, your aunt, whatever it is. That's the family. The family has to learn how to be able to make ends meet. So if the lady has to go to work, then you need to go to work. It's not going to be the easiest thing in the book, especially if you have been just sitting up there doing nothing, raising kids. It's, not nothing, but as far as working goes, but you do what you have to do. So I love that she shared that. So I think that her childhood shaped how she looks at life now. And yeah, so what do you think about that?
I think that Cardi B is very realistic. She has this fame and fortune, but the core of who she is to me a real person. She might get into the antics of social media and things like that, but what I heard her say was that her parents weren't 50-50. Her parents were 100-100. And when I say that, it was, well, dad worked, mom took care of the kids, she, still got her hair and nails done and things like that, but she put in her work on her end the way that her husband needed her to. And when her husband lost his job, then she went to work and she did what was needed for the family to survive and thrive. Right, I think that a lot of women, they think getting with a man, there should be no work. There are some people I know that's like, well, I would never go 50-50 with a man. And it's like, do you plan on having children? First of all, I don't think it should be even looked at as 50-50 because your income, his income makes the income. So it's not even 50-50. It's all of what you have and all of what you have. Now, it may go in different pots. It may go different ways, in the household and how it's being taken care of. But at the end of the day, when you say you don't want to pay any bills or do anything in the house, what if what happened to Cardi B's dad happens to your husband? Right. Or to your boyfriend or whoever you don't want to be paying none of your bills? What if that happens? Then what are you going to do? Are you going to leave him? Or are you going to step up and say, hey, I'm going to get a job? I think a lot of women don't want to put in no hard work, don't want to put in any work. They think it's like, oh, well, he's supposed to provide everything. Well, what exactly would you be doing? Especially if you don't have no kids, what would you be doing?
That's the thing, yeah.
I don't understand. And when did you stop paying your way? I don't understand. Unless your husband agrees to that, right? And in this economy, I don't know who exactly is doing that. But unless he agrees to make you a stay-at-home wife and, he takes care of the bills, again, I just don't know many men who are doing it. Your money is going to have to go to something. Something like, so I don't know. I don't see it in my head as 50-50. I don't like that notion. Yeah. I think it's 100-100 because honestly, there are going to be times where he's, not all the way there. There are going to be times where you're not all the way there. He has to step in. You have to, it's, you're doing it for the family. It should be 100-100 in my opinion. Because 50-50 means I'm gonna bring 50% of my money, you gonna bring 50% of your money. And it's like, no, we bring all the money to the table.
Right. Bring it all. Bring it all. Bye. Thanks for stopping by. Have a nice time with your family. Shout out to Team Fatty. What's up?
Hey, Fatty.
Thanks for being here. 50-50 is the most annoying conversation I've ever heard. Like, I'm so tired of it. I just want to do a whole video about 50-50 by itself. I'm tired of hearing it. It shouldn't exist. Like you said, it's all the money that you guys are getting together, gaining together. Yes. It goes in one space, one bank account. Now, you do have savings, but it's not a savings in case he leave. Not that type. It's savings for emergencies of the house. So things happen. Tire goes flat. Your what is it in the car? The transmission. Expensive. Sorry. Transmission, right? All of these things that can happen as far as going from A to Z. You need to have an emergency fund, right? And then you have play money, but play money shouldn't just be you spending it every day, every month. It should be a budget. It should be a standard to this. You guys should have rules, but it still should be one space. There is no such thing as it shouldn't be. No such thing. Like, are y'all splitting y'all check in half and be like, all right, this half is gonna go here. Mine is mine.
I just, when you get in relationships and be wanting all this control, why? Why? If you trust the man that you're with and y'all come up with a plan, I don't understand how you planning to have money on the side if y'all don't work out. Like, I just don't understand that. That's why I think that you definitely shouldn't be with the man if you don't love him. Like, love him as a person, without what he has, because the core of that man is going to love you whether he has something or not. But women are so different. And that's why we said last week, and we're going to say every week, if you don't like that man, there's a lot of things like this that can happen. Because if you truly like and love a man, you will go through the trenches with him. You will get a job. You will get 2 jobs if you need to. So when you guys get back together and you're on that high again, you know you can trust one another. I wouldn't want to be with, if I was a man, I wouldn't want to be with a woman who has issues with a prenup. I wouldn't want to be with a woman who says, oh, well, you don't want to put your money with my, it's like, what you with me for? For all that, you might as well just manage your finances and date and keep it moving. But if you're going to get married, there has to be some type of trust there. There has to be. And before the trust, there has to be admiration. You gotta truly love this man. And I think a lot of women be going off of a whim, like, you know, oh, well, I like him and he does a couple things like that. But you don't really like this man. You don't really like him. You know what I mean? Because if you really liked him, there are certain things that wouldn't be so hard for you to say yes to or submit to. Oh, my bad. I didn't mean to say that yes to. But it wouldn't be hard. Like, you know, it wouldn't be hard because it's like, okay, we're working together and it's me and you. Women be worried about other women and so many other things. Just keep it in the house. When you keep it in the house, that's where it's supposed to be. That's where it's supposed to grow.
And plus, what you said, I wanted to respond to that, but let me get into the chat really quick. What's up? What's up? We got Bruiser in the building. Sorry, he don't go by.
It's Darwin now. It's Darwin.
It's Darwin now. What's up, Darwin, with the WYNN in the building? Thank you so much. We love you too. Thank you. We have already said, okay. So yeah, we have Crystal. Hi, Crystal. Thanks for being here. You are so right. I always say if I'm working, then he's working. And he is working, but I'm just saying. So yeah, it's a lot of, this is what I was gonna say. So to what you said, like in my past, I like to talk about me on this live because a lot of this stuff is we are all in this together. We all went through stuff. But I had to learn, like in high school, when you don't, you don't like somebody, like you with somebody, but you don't really like them. You don't like what they did. So you what, puppy love, you break up with them just because. Like, this stuff happens. What women are doing today is like middle school, high school. You can't just break up with somebody because they did something to you. And it's not like it was like a life-threatening thing. It wasn't even cheating. You know, you just didn't like the way he dressed that day. Like, you cannot look at men like that. When you get into a serious relationship, into a marriage, you have to really love this man, just like what Precious is saying. Because any little thing that he does, you will be out the door. You will file those divorce papers. And that's not what a marriage is. Before you get married, y'all need to be tested.
I was gonna say they don't love them because they don't know them. You can't love somebody you don't know. You know what I mean? So it takes what you were about to say, being tested.
Yep. It does. It takes time. You got to get to know somebody. Y'all got to go through stuff. And I'm not saying like the worst, but you have to go through things. You have to see this person when he's sad, he's mad, he's crying. You know, that's not everybody's story, but for some people, they need it because you're going to see who you about to marry. If you don't know, and let's say within your 7-year itch, this is what they say. I don't even know if that's true because we passed our 7 years. And I don't know what's itching. So I don't know.
You ain't itching. You ain't itching. Neither one of y'all itching. Y'all got enough kids to keep y'all good.
So when you get into this 5-year, 7-year, and stuff starts to happen, and you're like, damn, I didn't know he was like this. Or I didn't know she was like this. Yeah, you're not going to know. But because you're in the marriage, don't give up. Now, when you get into a relationship and this stuff happens, you get to learn about a person. You get to see, can you handle that? And then you could part ways in that scenario. But people are doing it in a marriage. You cannot do that. You have to stay together, figure it out. And as far as this money go, everything that you guys earn is what you guys earn together. There is no such thing. And there are marriages that are like this. Like, this is not just relationships. There are marriages where there are men who don't know how much their lady is making. You ever heard of that? There are women who don't even know how much their man is making. And they are just in the house together, and they're literally paying bills in half. That's a real thing. This is what's happening.
Yeah, that's the real 50-50.
That's the real
that's the real 50-50. Because when you don't know, like I say, you can just bring a portion of yours or what you're doing, and somebody else or he or she can bring the portion of what they're doing, and that's 50-50.
Yep.
But when you're really in it with someone, you're gonna want to discuss those things because you're supposed to be a yin and a yang. So there are going to be areas where one is not well in, and there's going to be areas where the other is not well in. You're supposed to complement each other. So you go hard on the areas where he ain't, big and confident in, and he's supposed to go hard in the areas where you're not where you're not big and confident in. And that's what builds you. You want to be with someone that you can grow with, and part of that growth is knowledge, and sometimes you just don't have that knowledge by yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
So being with someone else can definitely elevate you. But I think women look at it, again, that control thing and that submissive thing. It's like, oh, well, if he don't know how much I make, then he can't tell me what to do with it, or he can't ask me for this, and vice versa. If she don't know how much I make, then I could just do whatever with my finances. I could buy this, go here, do this, and she'll never know.
Yeah.
And she won't, unless she one of them vindictive girls and you done messed up, and now she's searching through all your bills and trying to find out what you've been doing. Right. So, you gotta, you either gonna do it or you not. Like, that's how I feel. You either in, I'm so black and white. I gotta work on the gray. You're in or you out. Like, that's how I am. You either in or you out. Like, you know what I mean? And so if you're going to be in it, be in it.
Yeah. I think a lot of this is coming from trust. And we're going to get into the last clip with Cardi B because she kind of talks about that at the end of her video. So let me share that clip. Sorry, y'all. All right.
Come on, StreamYard. You're supposed to know. We've been doing this long enough.
Exactly. All right, so we're sharing. Okay, so let me get into the last clip here.
This is what I believe in, right? Like, it's like if you're gonna be the type of bitch that like a nigga, you want a nigga to take care of you and everything, but it's like, all right, you have to like pick a balance. Like it's like you cannot just be a bitch that's like, oh, my man take care of me, he does the bills, but it's like, what do you do? What are you contributing? Like it's like, all right, like you can't be complaining like, oh, I cook, I clean every day. It's like, okay, but you don't work, you don't contribute to the house. So I just feel like it's like, and like sometimes people be like, oh, so this is like really controversial, right?
Go ahead.
I feel like it's very controversial when like be like, oh, I don't go 50-50, but it's like, all right. So if you and your man make the same amount of money, right? But only your man is the one that paying all the bills. How you ever gonna save up to like buy a house or buy a business? Because he's never gonna be able to afford to. So it's like certain things is like a joint thing to do. You know what I'm saying?
I got a message for y'all from
Okay.
Cardi.
All right, so like, it's like it works together. But I just be feeling like sometimes people, like the internet, really be having people fucked up from like real reality type shit. So it's like all right. So your mom and dad used to work every single day, right? So your mom and dad used to work every single day, so your mom could save her money and buy persons, and your dad just pay all the bills. That's not how it works. It's either your mom was in the house cooking and cleaning every day, your dad was working, or they was both working to pay both the bills. Like y'all be acting like y'all don't know what the fuck that is like no more. Like, come on.
And your mom money was your dad money, and your dad money was your mom money.
Like it was like that.
Shit was all together.
Like it's like that's what I'm saying. Like I'm not a feminist anymore because it's like sometimes it's like y'all bitches don't be living in the real world.
Right.
Y'all not living there.
So, yes.
They Instagram models thinking that men's supposed to finance their whole life, and that one is going to marry them and still finance her whole life, and it's like that's not how the real world is working.
It's weird because I always said like a lot of people coming from the projects and they're just expecting luxury. And I'm like, you don't even know what that feels like. You don't even know, you can't touch it. So
But
why are you so pressed on I have to have this right now? You have to work to get that.
because the government gave it to them every month, $500 in food stamps. Their rent was paid for. Their cable and their cell phone bill was $2. So they don't know they don't know what it is to roll up your sleeves and go have to work. They don't know what it is to see a mother and father in the house grinding it out. They just know, oh, I can't get this, I can't go here, I can't. They don't know what it is to actually have responsibilities. And we was talking about the ones, you mentioned projects, but that's that mentality. That's the mentality of someone who is having something handed to them. Or you have women who are raised with their fathers, right? And their not just the father, but the mother too. But the father is the provider. He is the provider. And so he provides you what you need. He provides the wife with what she needs. So now when you get married, you're looking for that man. A lot of women are looking for these men of the old when, like Cardi said, and like Gillian them said, their money was mom's money was dad's money, and dad's money was mom's money. Okay. So when you're talking about the women of today, yeah, they're not trying to hear that. Like 50-50. What do you mean? Why would I have to contribute?
And the thing is, like, at the end of that video, she mentioned that if they were to, this is where women go wrong at. So she was doing awesome what she was saying. But at the end, she said, if we were to break up, you ain't gonna have shit. So if you're not working, she's saying, if you're not working and he is providing everything, and you guys were to break up, you're not going to have a dime. You're not going to have anything because you didn't contribute. That's where she, like, the reason why she's doing it, that's not the reason why you do it.
Right.
That's not the reason. That's not it. You need to contribute all of your funds because you are in a marriage which equals you coming to one. You coming together as one. You are one family. It's one head of household. When you file taxes, ain't no such thing as two. You do joint, it's one. That's how it is in the house. That's just law. But as far as your house go, it is mother, father, kids. So if that were to happen, you shouldn't be planning for it. You should be trying to figure out how to prevent it.
Exactly.
how much you got to spend to keep your marriage, not how much you got to spend when you out
To
that thing.
lose it, right?
So that's weird to me. What's up, world class? So like,
This is all your fault.
yeah, like, so it's interesting how people are portraying to live, and I like that she mentioned that she does do quote unquote 50-50, even though I'm not into 50-50, but I like that she is just sharing that she contributes. That's kind of the message that I got from it. Because there are ladies who they have the man pay the bills, and all of their money doesn't go anywhere. It just goes to them. It keeps them up. Their hair, their nails, their girl nights, girl trips, their vacations, anything pertaining to what their life is without the man included into it. And that's not right. But if you are a lady who feels that you want to contribute, there's nothing wrong with that. Go ahead and split bills if you want, but do understand that all that money needs to come in one space. It shouldn't be, this is mine, this is his. No, that's y'all's. So yeah.
Yeah. I agree. And I wouldn't even I don't know. I wouldn't even, again, if you're gonna be with a man, trust him. To me, it's as simple as that. If I'm gonna be with you, that means I trust you. It means I truly, truly trust you. And I trust you with everything. Not just some things, not just the things I think that you should be in charge. No. I'm gonna trust you with everything. So I think that at the end of the day, like you said earlier, we lack trust, we lack the teachings, but we can't say we lack the teachings after a certain point because we are adults, and so you're supposed to seek after knowledge.
Yeah.
That is something that we're supposed to be doing endlessly. That shouldn't stop. There's always something that you should want to be learning. There's always something that you can look introspective and say, okay, I need to fix this about myself. Even at your best point, even at your greatest achievements, even like, you know what I mean? Like that never stops. That's endless. And so when women want to hold money over men's heads or want to hide money or want to be deceitful and things like that, it shows emotional immaturity. And that is something that we always have to work on.
Yeah, we do. Especially if you're trying to get into a relationship.
Yeah.
It's not easy. You have to be able to maintain yourself and learn how to be patient. Learn how to be patient and learn how to work together. That's what relationships are supposed to teach you, how to work together. But in today's time, they're learning how to work against each other. And it's really women who are pushing that. I think so. What I see men doing now is that they're like, oh, they asked for equality. Well, here you go. And my thing is, why you gotta subscribe to what she doing? Why we gotta do all that? Like,
Girl, that's another show. That's another show because we love the brothers. We love the brothers. We do. Mm-hmm. But some of them follow, and that hinders the community because even if a man is not a leader, someone's looking to him to be a leader. Like, you know what I mean? Someone's looking to him to fill that role. And it may not even be outside your family. It's inside your family. You know what I mean? So that's going to be a whole nother show because I think that sometimes men need to hear things from people who care about them. Yeah. And not just the haters on the internet or the people that don't want to see them do well. Yeah. And, we're always going to be advocates for Black men because you are our leaders. You are our leaders. That's how we should look at you, period. That's how you should look at yourself, period, as a leader. But
that is another show. How you just broke that down. That might be next show. That's going to be next show because I went into a rant on my Instagram. Make sure y'all check out Lady DTM. Because I was pissed. Like, what are we talking about? Ain't no such thing. So that is gonna be the next show next Wednesday at 7-ish. Depends. 7:15. Okay, so we gonna do that. And I do appreciate everyone for stopping by, showing love, sharing super chats. Thank you so much. Me and Precious actually decided to do this because we are a favorite on a lot of panels. You know, Precious and Lady Di always is paired together. So we wanted to give you guys that show where it's just us and how we figure out things and discuss things in a positive way, giving solutions and all. So thanks for being here. And you ain't no good over here.
I blame all light skin. We all was like when we came out, okay? We all was like when we came out.
Right. McKinley, thank you so much. He says now talk about it. Just be here next week because we're gonna make that one all about men for real. Because we need to talk about that. We need to talk about that. That is
We're gonna do it in love, you know, because like we're advocates of men, black men in specific. But you know, sometimes men need to hear things in love, and sometimes you need people to be patient with you. But there are some things that need to be called out too. I know. So I had a friend tell me, "Precious, sometimes you too light on the men," and I'm like, "Well, I'm just here to listen, gain understanding. I'm not here to be, you know." But I think we'll have a great show next week, and you know, presenting it with love to the guys.
Yeah, and we may bring a guy or two up. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Hey, I see Kasim is in the building. How you doing?
Hello.
Thanks so much for coming.
I've seen him on Hamp's channel.
Yes, I'll be watching you. I like the things that you're saying. I love the questions that you ask. So keep doing your thing, and we'll keep in contact. But yes, thank you so much. Antonio says facts, my favorites. Thank you. So yeah, we wanted, you know, it's been a while. It's been like a year. Like, so we wanted to give you guys what you guys were asking for. So here it is. But yes, every Wednesday we're gonna do this and we're gonna get into some deep topics. This show was awesome. We were a lot more transparent this one. And we're gonna continue to bring that same thing. So any last words before we end this?
Last words. My last words will be to the ladies. Find stillness. Find stillness. And so that's something that you have to practice, especially ladies who are busy, maybe moms who have children, wives, women, just women in general. Our minds alone, we don't even have to be doing anything. We can be sitting down, but our minds alone are just going haywire, right? So practicing that is literally not doing anything, not talking to anyone, not receiving calls or anything coming in. Stillness. And whatever comes to mind, and do it daily, and maybe a certain 20-minute interval, or, you know, where you're literally just being still, because you'll be able to practice that in your daily life and you won't be so impulsive and you won't be so emotional. You'll be able to, some things just roll off your shoulder. It'll roll off your shoulder because you was like, oh, that wasn't for me. Because you're not that in tune with being offended, because you have stillness and you can really see through it. You can really press through it. So my final word would be to be still, because when you are still, you can find wholeness and you can find peace. And that's the only way you can work with a man, is when you can find wholeness and peace.
That part. That part. I love what you said. And just to add to that, my last words are, you know, have patience. Matter of fact, before the stream, I was speaking with my client. I do have wife clients that I see. Thanks to showcasing everything on YouTube and Instagram. Thank you all for booking me on that. But I was sharing with one of my clients today is that you have to have patience. A lot of women worry about everything, and that worry turns into that trust issue that we were talking about. You can't worry about everything. You just have to figure out how to maintain and go through with it. So if something is not going your way, you got to have patience. You have to have that love and care. If you really like this person, then you should be able to show them, let's say if you know it better, show them. And then don't expect an overnight or over the weekend or, within a month. You're giving them a time. You don't give nobody a time. You let them figure it out, because sometimes it may take a year, but you have to be patient. You have to show that kind, tender love, care, nurture, because we're should be naturally nurturing. So you have to bring that out of you. It shouldn't take a child to bring out that you're nurturing. You should be like that already. So I think that, we as women have to be patient, learn how to worry less. And in order how to worry less, you have to learn how to be patient. Patient is first. And I'm going to keep saying that word because no one talks about it. You have to figure it out. So how you could be patient is when let's talk about working out, you're exercising. You have to be patient to get to the goals that you want, right? Let's say you skipped the exercise and then you went into surgery. It's the same thing. I don't really condone all of that, but it's still patience that you have to do. You have to wait for 2 months to heal, right? So you can get that snapback that you're looking for. So if you're able to be patient with stuff like that, learn how to have it in your relationship respectfully. Don't be a fool. Make sure you are with the right person. But you have to give people a little bit of grace too, just like that person is giving you grace. So I know Precious earlier said that you have to learn how to trust a man, because guess what men are doing? Trusting you. Did we forget that part? They know that y'all can take every goddamn thing that they own, because that's how the law works. But they're still trusting you that you're not going to do it. So how come we can't talk about that? If he can do it, you can do it. So be positive in your relationship. So that is my last words. I'm going to stop right there. I was going to go into a rant, but
It's all good. I saw World Class says, but how well do women risk assess? Maybe a good panel topic. So I wrote that down. So we'll work that into the schedule as well.
Okay. Thank you, World Class. Thank you. Kay, thanks for being here. Patience is a virtue.
Love is patient. It's a fruit of the spirit.
Patience. And we have Matthew. What up? What up? Christopher, thanks so much for all of your support on my channel. I see you always representing there. Thank you so much. Quincy says, right on. Much success, ladies. Thank you. And last but not least, we have Crystal Clear.
I like that name.
Yes. Thank you so much for sending in a super chat. She says, excellent discussion, ladies. I'm looking forward to the next week's show. Yes. Also, you guys, make sure you share this. Share this stream. Let people know that we are live on Wednesdays. And, you don't want to miss it. So the next week's show is going to be all about men. And we're going to get into that. So if you haven't watched us from the beginning, watch the replay. And we'll see y'all next week.
See ya.
All right.